Stop Being Lazy. Train Your Mind. Written and published by Vox Reads. Introduction. Stop being lazy. Train your mind. You are not lazy. You have just been trained to stop too soon. That sentence may surprise you. It may even challenge how you see yourself. But it is the truth that changes everything. This audiobook is not here to insult you. It is not here to shame you. And it is not here to push empty motivation. This book exists for one reason: to help you understand why action feels hard, and to teach you how to retrain your mind to move anyway. Most people believe laziness is a personal flaw. They believe it means something is wrong with them. They believe they lack discipline, willpower, or drive. That belief is the real problem. Laziness is not who you are. It is a learned response. It is a pattern created by comfort, repetition, and avoidance. Your mind was trained, and what is trained can be retrained. This audiobook will show you how. You will not hear complicated theories. You will not hear unrealistic advice. And you will not hear phrases that sound good, but do nothing. Everything here is practical. Everything is clear. And everything is designed to work in real life. This book will help you understand how your mind avoids effort. It will explain why starting feels harder than finishing. It will show you why motivation disappears when you need it most. More importantly, it will teach you how to act without motivation. You will learn how to build discipline without forcing yourself. You will learn how to stop delaying simple tasks. You will learn how to follow through even when you do not feel like it. This is not about becoming extreme. It is about becoming consistent. Consistency beats intensity. Always. This audiobook is structured to guide you step by step. Each chapter builds on the last. Each idea is simple and easy to apply. You do not need to change your life overnight. You do not need to become someone else. You only need to train your mind to respond differently. That training begins with awareness. You will begin to notice how often you avoid discomfort, how often you negotiate with yourself, how often you delay things that matter. Once you see this clearly, something powerful happens. You regain control. Control does not come from force. It comes from clarity. When you understand how your mind works, you stop fighting it. You start guiding it. This audiobook is designed for listening. The language is clear. The pacing is intentional. You can listen while walking, while driving, or while resting. Let the ideas sink in slowly. Do not rush them. Each concept is meant to settle into your thinking. Change does not come from one moment of motivation. It comes from repeated decisions. Small decisions. Daily decisions. This book will help you make those decisions easier. You will learn how to start when your mind says, wait. You will learn how to continue when your energy drops. You will learn how to show up on ordinary days, because ordinary days are where progress is built. You do not need more inspiration. You need a stronger system. You do not need to feel ready. You need to act before the feeling arrives. This audiobook will teach you how. As you listen, you may feel resistance. That is normal. Resistance means something important is being challenged. Do not push it away. Observe it. That resistance is not a warning. It is a signal that growth is close. This is your opportunity to stop labeling yourself as lazy. To stop repeating the same cycle. To stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. But progress does. And progress begins now. Take a breath, set aside distractions, and listen with intention. You are about to retrain your mind. One thought at a time. One action at a time. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Wake up to personal responsibility. There is a moment in every real change story when something clicks. Not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly. It is the moment when you stop asking why life is unfair, and you start asking what you are responsible for. This chapter is about that moment. Personal responsibility is not punishment. It is power. Most people misunderstand this. They hear responsibility and think of blame. They think of pressure. They think of being judged. That is not what responsibility means here. Responsibility means this: your life responds to what you do consistently. Nothing more, nothing less. When you truly accept this, everything shifts. The quiet cost of avoidance. Imagine a man who wakes up every day feeling tired before he even begins. He tells himself he will start tomorrow. Tomorrow he will work harder. Tomorrow he will change. Tomorrow keeps moving. Years pass. Opportunities fade. Confidence drops. Nothing dramatic happens. That is the danger. Avoidance is quiet. It does not shout. It whispers. It says, rest now. It says, you deserve a break. It says, just one more day. Personal responsibility begins when you hear that voice and choose not to obey it. Responsibility is not about the past. This is important to understand. Taking responsibility does not mean your past was your fault. It does not mean others did not fail. It does not mean life was fair. It means the next step is yours. You cannot change where you started, but you can change where you stand next. Responsibility lives in the present moment. Right now, what you choose to do with this hour matters more than any explanation of yesterday. The day everything changed. There is a common story you will hear from people who turned their lives around. It is rarely dramatic. They did not suddenly become motivated. They did not discover a secret formula. They simply stopped waiting. One man described it this way. He said, I got tired of hearing my own excuses. That was it. He did not fix his whole life in a week. He fixed one decision. He decided to stop lying to himself. That decision was responsibility. Why responsibility feels uncomfortable? If responsibility feels heavy, that is normal. Responsibility removes escape routes. You can no longer blame time. You can no longer blame motivation. You can no longer blame other people. At first, this feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is not danger. It is growth. The same discomfort appears when muscles grow stronger, when skills improve, when habits change. Avoiding responsibility feels easy. Until you pay the price later. The hidden freedom in ownership. Here is the truth most people never hear. Responsibility is freedom. When you blame circumstances, you feel helpless. When you blame yourself, you gain options. Because if your actions created your results, then new actions can create new results. That is empowering. You are not stuck. You are simply repeating patterns. And patterns can be changed. A simple mirror test. There is a simple exercise that shifts perspective. Stand in front of a mirror. Look yourself in the eyes. Then say this out loud. My results are teaching me something. Not punishing you. Not shaming you. Teaching you. If something is not working, it is feedback. Responsibility means listening to that feedback. Stop asking for permission. Many people delay action because they are waiting for permission. Permission to start. Permission to fail. Permission to change. That permission will never come. No one is coming to approve your effort. Responsibility means you stop waiting. You move without applause. You work without validation. This is how momentum begins. The power of small ownership. Responsibility does not mean fixing everything at once. That mindset overwhelms people. Instead, focus small. Take responsibility for waking up on time. Take responsibility for one task. Take responsibility for finishing what you start today. Small ownership builds trust with yourself. And trust builds confidence. Real responsibility is quiet. Responsibility does not announce itself. It does not need attention. It looks like showing up when no one is watching. It looks like doing the boring work. It looks like keeping promises to yourself. This is where change becomes real. No more excuse language. Pay attention to how you speak. Phrases like I could not, I did not have time, I was not in the mood. These phrases protect comfort. Replace them with honesty. I chose not to. I did not prioritize it. This is not harsh. It is accurate. Accuracy leads to growth. Responsibility is a daily choice. You do not take responsibility once. You take it every day. Some days it will feel easy. Some days it will feel heavy. Do it anyway. Consistency is built through repetition, not emotion. A new identity begins here. When you accept responsibility, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who reacts. You become someone who decides. That shift is powerful. You are no longer waiting for motivation. You are no longer waiting for conditions to improve. You act first. Feelings follow later. Your first commitment. Before moving to the next chapter, make one commitment. Not a promise to be perfect. Not a promise to change everything. Just this. I will take responsibility for my next action. Not tomorrow. Not next week. The next action. That is enough. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the door. And now it is open. Chapter 2. How the mind learns to avoid effort. Your mind was not designed to help you succeed. It was designed to help you survive. That truth changes how you see yourself. The brain's primary job is simple. Conserve energy. Avoid pain. Seek comfort. Long ago, this kept humans alive. Today, it quietly holds people back. This chapter will help you understand how that happens, not in theory, but in real life. Because once you understand the pattern, you can break it. The brain always chooses the easiest path. Imagine walking through tall grass every day. At first, it is hard. The grass pushes back. Your legs work harder, but after many days, a path forms. Walking becomes easier. Your brain works the same way. Every repeated behavior creates a mental path. The more you choose ease, the stronger that path becomes. Over time, effort feels unfamiliar. Comfort feels normal. Not because you are weak, but because your brain adapted. Why effort feels heavy before you begin. Have you ever felt tired before starting a task? Not physically, mentally. That feeling is not real exhaustion. It is anticipation. The brain predicts effort and sends a warning signal. It says this will be uncomfortable. So it pushes you toward delay. This happens before action, not during action. Once you start, the feeling often fades. This is important. The resistance is strongest at the beginning. That is why starting matters more than finishing. Comfort becomes a teacher. Every time you avoid effort, the brain learns. It learns that avoidance works. It learns that comfort brings relief. It learns that delay reduces discomfort. This learning happens quietly. You do not feel it happening, but the pattern grows stronger. To perf, one skipped task becomes two. Two become a habit. The habit becomes an identity. I am lazy. That label is learned. Not true. A real example. You will recognize. Consider someone who wants to exercise. The alarm rings early. The bed is warm. The mind offers an excuse. Rest today. You deserve it. Start tomorrow. The person listens. Relief follows. The brain remembers that relief. Next morning, the same choice feels harder to resist. Not because the body is weaker, but because the mind was trained. The reward system at work. Your brain runs on rewards. Effort has a delayed reward. Comfort has an instant reward. Scrolling a phone feels good now. Finishing work feels good later. The brain prefers now. This is not a flaw. It is biology. But biology can be managed. Delayed rewards become powerful when they are repeated. Discipline trains the reward system over time. Why motivation disappears? Motivation is emotional energy. It comes and goes. The brain does not rely on motivation. It relies on patterns. That is why motivation fades quickly. If a behavior is not part of a pattern, it feels unstable. If it is part of a routine, it feels automatic. Effort feels hard when it is rare. It feels normal when it is repeated. The lie of feel like it later. Many people wait to feel ready. They wait for energy. They wait for motivation. They wait for confidence. The brain uses waiting as protection. Feeling ready is not required for action. Action creates readiness. This is a critical shift. You do not act because you feel ready. You feel ready because you act. Effort avoidance is not laziness. This needs to be said clearly. Avoiding effort does not mean you are lazy. It means your mind learned a shortcut. Shortcuts save energy, but they limit growth. Once you understand this, shame disappears, and strategy replaces it. You stop attacking yourself. You start training yourself. Reversing the pattern starts small. You do not retrain the mind with big promises. You retrain it with small wins. Do the task for 2 minutes. Start without finishing. Begin without pressure. Each small effort teaches the brain something new. Effort does not kill me. Effort does not last forever. Effort leads to progress. That learning compounds. Why repetition matters more than intensity. 1 intense day changes nothing. 10 consistent days change everything. The brain responds to repetition. When effort is repeated, resistance weakens. When avoidance is repeated, resistance strengthens. Choose repetition. Even when the action feels small. Especially then. You are always training something. Every choice trains your brain. When you act, you train follow-through. When you delay, you train avoidance. There is no neutral choice. This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to empower you. Because training can change direction. Awareness is the first upgrade. From now on, notice resistance. Not with anger. With curiosity. Notice when your mind suggests delay. Notice how quickly excuses appear. This awareness alone weakens the habit. You are no longer automatic. You are conscious. Your role moving forward. You are not here to fight your brain. You are here to guide it. Effort avoidance was learned. Effort tolerance can be learned too. Slowly, calmly, consistently. In the next chapter, you will see how comfort becomes a trap, and why escaping it changes everything. For now, remember this. You are not broken. You are trained, and training can be changed. Chapter 3. The Comfort Trap. Comfort feels harmless. It feels safe. It feels deserved. That is why it is dangerous. The comfort trap does not arrive suddenly. It grows slowly, quietly, almost politely. By the time you notice it, it feels normal. This chapter will help you see comfort clearly. Not as rest, not as balance, but as a pattern that slowly steals momentum. Comfort is not the enemy at first. Comfort is not bad by nature. Rest helps recovery. Ease reduces stress. Relaxation has a purpose. The problem begins when comfort becomes a default, when it is no longer earned, when it is chosen instead of effort. That is when comfort stops serving you and starts controlling you. How the trap is built. The comfort trap is built through small choices. You skip one difficult task. You delay one important decision. You avoid one uncomfortable conversation. Nothing seems wrong. But your brain takes notes. It learns that comfort is the reward. It learns that avoidance removes pressure. It learns that effort is optional. These lessons stack. Why comfort feels so right. Comfort gives instant relief. When you stop working, tension drops. When you avoid effort, stress fades. When you distract yourself, discomfort disappears. The brain loves this. It does not ask what this choice costs later. It only cares about now. That is why comfort feels convincing. It whispers, just this once. You need a break. Tomorrow will be better. the slow trade you do not notice. Here is the trade most people make without realizing it. They trade future strength for present ease. One day of comfort seems harmless. A habit of comfort changes everything. Energy drops, confidence weakens, self-trust erodes. And the worst part is this: you feel busy, but not fulfilled. A story that feels familiar. Imagine someone who comes home tired every day. They plan to work on a goal, but the couch looks inviting. The phone offers distraction. They say, "I will relax for 10 minutes. 10 minutes becomes an hour. The goal waits again. This repeats daily. Over time, the goal feels heavier. Starting feels harder. Comfort feels necessary. The trap is set. Comfort shrinks your tolerance. The more comfort you choose, the less effort you can tolerate. Small tasks feel overwhelming. Minor challenges feel exhausting. Normal pressure feels unbearable. This is not weakness. It is conditioning. Just like muscles weaken without use, effort tolerance fades without practice. Why comfort creates restlessness. Here is something many people do not expect. Too much comfort creates discomfort. You feel bored. You feel restless. You feel dissatisfied. But you do not know why. The mind was built to solve problems, to overcome challenges, to move forward. When it does not get that, it feels empty. So you seek more comfort, and the cycle deepens. Comfort disguised as self-care. This part matters. Not all comfort is harmful. But not all comfort is self-care. Self-care restores you so you can act. Comfort avoidance keeps you from acting. Ask yourself this question: does this make me stronger? Or does it help me escape? Honest answers change behavior. The illusion of balance. Many people say they want balance. What they mean is relief. True balance includes effort. It includes discomfort. Without those, balance becomes stagnation. Growth requires tension, not constant, but consistent. How the trap tightens over time. The comfort trap tightens slowly. First you avoid hard things. Then you fear them. Then you doubt yourself around them. Not because you cannot, but because comfort trained you not to. That is the real cost. The exit begins with awareness. Escaping the comfort trap does not require extreme change. It begins with noticing. Notice how often you choose ease. Notice how often you delay effort. Notice how often you talk yourself out of action. Do this without judgment. Awareness weakens habits. Choosing discomfort on purpose. Here is a powerful shift. Start choosing small discomfort on purpose. Not pain. Not exhaustion. Just mild discomfort. Stand up when you want to sit. Start the task when you want to delay. Continue when stopping feels easier. These choices retrain your brain. Why small discomfort builds confidence. Every time you choose effort, something important happens. You keep a promise to yourself. That builds self-trust. Self-trust builds confidence. Confidence makes effort easier. This is how momentum returns. Comfort is not the goal. A meaningful life is not comfortable. It is capable. Capability brings satisfaction. Satisfaction brings peace. Comfort alone brings none of these. Rest has a place, but it should support progress, not replace it. A new relationship with comfort. From this point on, see comfort differently. Not as a reward for avoiding effort, but as recovery after effort. Earned comfort feels good. Unearned comfort feels empty. Choose wisely. What comes next? Now that you see the comfort trap, you cannot unsee it. That is a good thing. In the next chapter, you will learn why motivation fails, and why discipline succeeds where motivation never can. For now, remember this: comfort is easy, growth is earned, and you are capable of earning it. Chapter 4. Discipline beats motivation. Motivation feels powerful. It feels exciting. It feels unstoppable. Until it disappears. This chapter is about the truth most people learn too late. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. When you understand this, progress becomes predictable. The problem with waiting to feel ready. Many people believe they need motivation to act. They wait for energy. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the perfect mood. That waiting becomes a habit. Motivation comes from emotion. Emotion changes quickly. If action depends on emotion, action will be inconsistent. Discipline removes this problem. What discipline really is? Discipline is not punishment. It is not force. It is not suffering. Discipline is a system. It is the ability to act without negotiation. It is the decision made in advance. It is structure, replacing emotion. Discipline says, this is what I do, not this is what I feel like doing. A story you will recognize. Imagine someone who decides to work every morning. Day 1 feels exciting. Motivation is high. Progress feels easy. Day 3 feels slower. Motivation drops. Day 7 feels heavy. If motivation is the driver, the habit ends here. But if discipline is in place, action continues. The difference is not desire. It is commitment. Motivation is a reaction, not a tool. Motivation often comes after action, not before it. When you start moving, energy appears. When progress shows up, motivation follows. Waiting for motivation before acting reverses the order. That is why it fails. Discipline fixes the order. Why discipline feels boring. Discipline is repetitive. It is predictable. It lacks drama. That is its strength. Progress does not come from excitement. It comes from repetition. The brain trusts what is repeated. Over time, discipline feels natural. Motivation becomes a bonus. Structure creates freedom. Here is a powerful truth. Structure creates freedom. When decisions are already made, energy is saved. When routines exist, resistance drops. You no longer argue with yourself. You simply follow the plan. This is how high performers operate. Discipline is built through small rules. Discipline does not begin with big promises. It begins with small rules. Wake up at the same time. Start the task when the clock says start. Stop when the time ends. These rules remove emotion. Consistency grows. The myth of willpower. Willpower is limited. The more you rely on it, the faster it fades. Discipline does not rely on willpower. It relies on design. When your environment supports action, discipline becomes easier. Place tools where you can see them. Remove distractions. Make starting simple. How discipline builds identity. Each disciplined action sends a message. I am someone who follows through. Over time, that message becomes identity. You stop trying to be disciplined. You become disciplined. Identity changes behavior automatically. Why motivation alone leads to guilt. When motivation fades, people blame themselves. They feel lazy. They feel weak. But the problem was never effort. It was the strategy. Discipline removes guilt. You act because it is time, not because you feel like it. Discipline works on bad days. This is where discipline shines. On days when energy is low. On days when life is heavy. On days when quitting feels tempting. Discipline shows up, not perfectly, but consistently. That consistency compounds. Training discipline without burnout. Discipline should support you, not exhaust you. Start small. Increase slowly. Short sessions beat long ones. Daily effort beats rare intensity. Sustainable discipline lasts, a simple shift that changes everything. Stop asking, do I feel like it? Start asking, is this what I decided? Decisions made ahead of time are powerful. They protect you from emotion. Motivation becomes a result. When discipline is consistent, something interesting happens. Motivation returns, not as a requirement, as a reward. Progress feels good. Confidence grows. Momentum builds. Motivation follows discipline. Always what comes next. Now you understand why motivation fails and why discipline wins. In the next chapter, you will learn how to train yourself to start, even when resistance is strong. For now, remember this. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine, and engines take you far. Chapter 5. Training the mind to start. Starting is the hardest part. Not finishing. Not continuing. Starting. If you struggle with action, this is why. The mind does not fear work. It fears the beginning of work. This chapter will teach you how to train your mind to start. Calmly. Consistently. Without force. Why starting feels so heavy. Before action begins, the mind imagines effort. It predicts discomfort. It predicts fatigue. It predicts failure. These predictions feel real, but they are not accurate. They are guesses. The mind tries to protect you from discomfort that has not happened yet. So it creates resistance. That resistance feels like tiredness, like distraction, like sudden loss of interest. This happens before you move. Once you begin, resistance often fades. This is a key insight. The start is a separate skill. Many people think starting and working are the same. They are not. Starting is a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained. You do not need more motivation. You need a better starting system. Lowering the entry point. The biggest mistake people make is starting too big. They say, I will finish everything. They say, I will work for hours. They say, I will do it perfectly. That creates pressure. Pressure increases resistance. Instead, lower the entry point. Tell yourself you will work for 2 minutes. Tell yourself you will open the file. Tell yourself you will stand up and move. Small starts bypass resistance. The 2-minute rule explained. Here is a simple rule. Commit to 2 minutes. Not to finish. Not to succeed. Just to begin. 2 minutes feels safe to the brain. It does not trigger defense. Often, 2 minutes becomes more. But that is not the goal. The goal is starting. A real-world example. Imagine someone who wants to write. They sit down and feel blocked. They think of the whole project. They feel overwhelmed. Instead, they write 1 sentence. Just 1. The pressure disappears. Movement begins. The mind relaxes once action starts. Starting without permission. Another barrier to starting is waiting. Waiting for the right mood. Waiting for confidence. Waiting for clarity. Those things come after action, not before. Starting does not require permission. You are allowed to begin imperfectly. Separating start from performance. This is important. Do not judge performance. At the start, judgment increases fear. Fear delays action. Tell yourself this. This start does not need to be good. Quality improves later. Starting is only about movement. Creating a starting ritual. Rituals train the brain. A ritual signals action time. It can be simple. A specific chair. A specific song. A deep breath. A countdown. Repeat the same ritual every time. The brain learns what comes next. Starting becomes automatic. The countdown technique. Here is a powerful method. Count backward from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. Do not think. Do not negotiate. Movement interrupts hesitation. This works because it bypasses thought. Why negotiation kills action? The mind loves negotiation. Just a little later. After one more thing. Let me think first. Negotiation feels reasonable, but it delays action. Starting requires a decision, not a debate. Decide once. Act immediately. Environment shapes starting. Your environment either helps you start or stops you. Clutter creates friction. Distractions create delay. Prepare your environment in advance. Place tools where they are visible. Remove obstacles. Make the first step easy. Good environments reduce resistance. Training through repetition. Starting becomes easier through repetition, not intensity. Repetition. Start every day, even briefly. Each start trains the brain. Starting is safe. Starting is normal. Starting leads somewhere. These messages compound. What to do when resistance shows up? Resistance will still appear. Do not fight it. Do not judge it. Acknowledge it. Say, I feel resistance. Then start anyway. Resistance loses power when it is seen. The power of micro wins. Every start is a win. Even if the session is short. Even if the work feels slow. Micro wins build momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence makes starting easier. Breaking the fear loop. Fear often hides behind hesitation. Fear of wasting time. Fear of doing it wrong. Fear of not being enough. Starting breaks the fear loop. Action replaces imagination. Reality is usually easier than imagined effort. Start before you are ready. This is a rule worth repeating. Readiness is not required. Clarity comes from action. Confidence comes from repetition. Motivation comes from progress. Start first. A new definition of success. Redefine success. Success is not finishing. Success is starting. If you start, you win. Everything else builds from there. Your practice for today. Choose one task you have been delaying. Do not plan it. Do not perfect it. Start it for 2 minutes. Then stop if you want. The win is the start. What comes next? Now that you can start, a new challenge appears. Continuing without delay. In the next chapter, you will learn how to break the habit of postponing action, and how to move when waiting feels easier. For now, remember this. You do not need to feel ready. You need to begin, and beginning is a skill you now have. Chapter 6. Breaking the habit of delay. Delay feels harmless. It feels temporary. It feels reasonable. But delay is rarely about time. It is about avoidance. This chapter will help you understand why you delay, not with judgment, with clarity. Because once you see delay clearly, it loses its grip. Delay is a learned response. You were not born delaying things. Delay was learned. It was learned every time you postponed discomfort, every time you chose later, over now, every time relief followed avoidance. The mind remembers relief. So when effort appears, the mind suggests delay, not to hurt you, to protect you. Understanding this changes everything. Why delay feels logical. Delay often sounds smart. Let me plan more. I will do it when I have more energy. I need to be in the right mood. These statements sound reasonable, but they hide a truth. They push action away from the present moment, and the present moment is the only place where action exists. The emotional loop of delay. Delay follows a predictable loop. First comes discomfort, then comes avoidance, then comes relief. That relief feels good, but it does not last. Soon after, guilt appears. Pressure returns. The task feels heavier, so delay repeats. This loop trains the mind. Break the loop and the habit weakens. Delay grows. When tasks feel vague. One major cause of delay is vagueness. When a task feels unclear, the mind resists it. Work on the project feels heavy. Open the document feels manageable. The mind avoids what it cannot see clearly. Clarity reduces delay. Shrink the task until it moves. When delay shows up, your task is too big. Shrink it. Do not aim to complete. Aim to touch. Read 1 page. Write 1 sentence. Send 1 message. Movement matters more than progress. Once movement begins, delay loses power. Delay is strongest at the edge. Delay is strongest right before action. Not hours before. Not days before. Right before. This is when the mind negotiates hardest. This is your signal. When resistance spikes, act immediately. Do not wait for the feeling to pass. Move through it. The cost of just a little later. Later feels safe. But later has a cost. Later increases pressure. Later increases mental weight. Tasks do not stay the same when delayed. They grow. Acting early keeps tasks small. A story of quiet delay. Consider someone who needs to make a call. They delay it for days. They rehearse it mentally. They imagine problems. The call takes 5 minutes. The relief afterward is immediate. The delay was longer than the task. This is common. Delay magnifies effort in the mind. Action reduces it. Time blocking without emotion. One way to break delay is to remove choice. Choose a time. Choose a duration. Act when the time arrives. No debate. Time-based action bypasses emotion. When the clock says start, you start. This trains reliability. Why overthinking feeds delay? Thinking feels productive, but it often replaces action. Overthinking gives the illusion of progress, but nothing moves. When you catch yourself thinking in circles, stop. Ask one question. What is the next physical action? Then do that. Delay thrives in isolation. Delay grows when tasks feel lonely. Accountability reduces delay. Tell someone what you will do. Set a visible reminder. Track completion. Visibility creates pressure. Healthy pressure leads to action. Speed is an antidote. Speed breaks delay. Not rushing. Not chaos. Just faster starts. Decide quickly. Begin immediately. The longer you wait, the louder resistance becomes. Practice acting before you feel ready. Delay waits for readiness. Discipline acts without it. Practice moving before comfort arrives. This feels uncomfortable at first. Then it becomes normal. Then it becomes automatic. Replacing delay with a rule. Rules remove hesitation. Create simple rules. If it takes less than 5 minutes, do it now. When resistance appears, start anyway. When in doubt, act. Rules simplify decisions. Simple decisions reduce delay. Forgive past delay. Holding guilt strengthens delay. Guilt drains energy. Energy is needed for action. Forgive past delay. Not because it was good, but because punishment does not help progress. Focus forward. Delay is not a character flaw. Delay does not define you. It is a habit. Habits respond to structure. When structure changes, behavior follows. You are not broken. You are untrained in immediacy. That can be fixed. The power of immediate action. Immediate action builds trust. Each time you act quickly, you send a message. I can rely on myself. That message changes identity. Identity changes behavior. It's your practice for today. Notice one moment of delay. Today. Just one. When you notice it, act immediately. Even in a small way. Interrupt the pattern. That interruption matters. What comes next? You now understand starting. And you understand delay. Next comes endurance. In the next chapter, you will learn how to stay consistent under pressure, and how to keep going when quitting feels easier. For now, remember this. Delay is a habit. Action is a choice. Choose action. Chapter 7. Building mental toughness. Mental toughness is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is not dramatic. Mental toughness is quiet strength. It is the ability to continue when stopping feels easier. It is the choice to stay present when discomfort appears. It is calm persistence. This chapter will show you how that strength is built. What mental toughness really means. Mental toughness is often misunderstood. It is not ignoring pain. It is not forcing yourself through exhaustion. It is not pretending things are easy. Mental toughness is the ability to remain steady, even when things feel uncomfortable. It is control under pressure. Why toughness is trained, not born. Some people seem naturally tough. What you do not see is training. They have faced resistance before. They have stayed when quitting was tempting. They have built tolerance over time. Toughness is learned through exposure, not through talent. Discomfort is the training ground. Comfort builds relaxation. Discomfort builds strength. This does not mean seeking pain. It means not running from mild discomfort. Effort creates tension. Tension creates growth. Avoiding discomfort prevents adaptation. A story of quiet endurance. Imagine someone running their first mile. Their breath feels heavy. Their legs feel tight. Their mind says stop. They slow down. They breathe. They keep going. The mile ends. The next time it feels easier. Not because they became stronger overnight, but because their tolerance increased. This is how mental toughness grows, separating pain from panic. Many people confuse discomfort with danger. A fast heartbeat feels alarming. Mental resistance feels threatening. But discomfort is not harm. When you label discomfort accurately, fear drops. Say this. This is uncomfortable, not dangerous. That shift keeps you present. The power of staying calm. Panic weakens endurance. Calm extends it. When discomfort appears, slow your breathing. Relax your face. Lower tension where you can. Calm signals safety to the mind. The mind allows you to continue. Short bursts build long strength. You do not need to endure for hours. Mental toughness grows in short bursts. Stay 5 minutes longer. Finish one more repetition. Hold attention a little more. These moments add up. Consistency beats intensity. The why quitting feels urgent. The urge to quit often feels immediate. It feels like relief is necessary. But urges rise and fall like waves. If you stay long enough, the urge weakens. Mental toughness is staying through the wave. Reframing the inner voice. When pressure rises, the inner voice gets loud. I cannot do this. This is too much. I should stop. Do not argue with the voice. Acknowledge it, then respond calmly. I hear you. We continue. Simple, firm, controlled. Training without self-criticism. Criticism weakens endurance. Harsh self-talk drains energy. Energy is needed to continue. Mental toughness grows with respect. Treat yourself like someone you are training, not someone you are punishing. The role of consistent challenge. Toughness fades without challenge. If life feels too easy, endurance shrinks. Introduce controlled challenge. Wake up on time. Finish tasks fully. Stay focused longer. These challenges keep toughness alive. Recovery is part of toughness. Rest is not weakness. Recovery allows strength to rebuild. Mental toughness includes knowing when to rest and when to return. Balance keeps toughness sustainable. Building trust through completion. Every time you complete something difficult, trust grows. I can handle this. I do not quit easily. The trust carries forward. Future challenges feel lighter. Pressure reveals strength. Pressure does not create weakness. It reveals it. Use pressure as information. Where you struggle is where you grow. Do not avoid pressure. Study it. Small wins under stress. When stress is high, lower the goal. Do not aim to be perfect. Aim to remain engaged. Staying present is a win. Progress continues. Mental toughness is built daily. You do not become tough in one moment. You build toughness daily, through choices, through responses, through repetition. Every difficult moment is training. Your practice for today. Choose one task that feels slightly uncomfortable. Do not rush it. Do not escape it. Stay present until it is done. Notice what happens. You will feel stronger. What comes next? You can start. You can act without delay. You can endure discomfort. Now you need structure. In the next chapter, you will learn how routine removes resistance, and how daily structure creates freedom. For now, remember this. Mental toughness is not force. It is calm persistence. And you are building it right now. Chapter 8. The power of daily structure. Structure may sound boring. Routine may sound limiting. But structure is one of the most powerful tools for progress. This chapter will show you why daily structure creates freedom, and why people who rely on structure move forward faster than those who rely on mood. Why the mind craves structure. The mind makes thousands of decisions every day: what to do, when to do it, how long to do it. Each decision uses energy. When energy runs low, resistance grows. Structure reduces decisions. Fewer decisions mean less fatigue. Less fatigue means more action. Structure removes negotiation. Without structure, every task becomes a debate. Should I start now? Can this wait? Do I really need to do this today? Negotiation drains energy. Structure ends the debate. When the time arrives, you act. No argument. No delay. A day without structure. Think about a day with no plan. You wake up unsure. Tasks feel scattered. Time slips away. At the end of the day, you feel busy, but nothing important is finished. This creates frustration, not because you did not work, but because your effort lacked direction. A day with simple structure. Now imagine a day with clear blocks. You know when to start. You know when to stop. You know what matters most. Pressure drops. Focus improves. You do not do more. You do what matters. Structure is not rigidity. Structure does not mean controlling every minute. It means guiding your energy. Flexible structure allows adjustment. Rigid control creates stress. The goal is consistency, not perfection. The power of anchors. Anchors are fixed points in your day. Wake up time. Work start time. Wind down time. Anchors stabilize the day. Even if other things change, anchors remain. Stability creates reliability. Morning structure sets the tone. How you start the day matters. Unstructured mornings lead to reactive days. Simple morning structure creates momentum. Wake up, move your body. Begin your first task. No decisions, just flow. Task batching saves energy. Switching tasks drains focus. Batch similar tasks together. Work tasks together. Messages together. Planning together. This reduces mental friction. Flow increases. Time blocks over to-do lists. Long to-do lists overwhelm the mind. Time blocks simplify action. Choose a task. Choose a time. Work only during that time. When time ends, stop. This prevents burnout. Why ending on time matters. Stopping on time preserves energy. It leaves you wanting more, not exhausted. Ending well makes starting easier next time. Consistency improves. Structure creates boundaries. Without structure, work expands. It spills into rest. Rest spills into work. Structure creates boundaries. You work when it is time. You rest when it is time. Both improve. A story of structure in action. Consider someone who struggles with focus. They decide to work from 9 to 10. No phone. No distractions. At 10 they stop. After a week, focus improves. Not because they worked longer, but because they worked with structure. Why structure builds confidence. Every completed block is a win. Wins build trust. Trust builds confidence. Confidence reduces resistance. Structure supports progress. Structure protects you on hard days. On hard days, emotion is unreliable. Structure remains. You follow the plan even when energy is low. This keeps momentum alive. Start with simple structure. Do not overcomplicate this. Choose 3 anchors. Choose 2 focused blocks. That is enough. Structure grows over time. Adjust. Do not abandon. Some days will not go as planned. That is normal. Adjust the structure. Do not abandon it. Consistency beats perfection. Structure turns discipline into habit. When action happens at the same time each day, it becomes automatic. Habit replaces effort. Effortlessness follows. Your practice for today. Choose one time block tomorrow. Decide what you will work on. Decide when you will stop. Follow it. That is structure. What comes next? Structure creates consistency, but consistency must survive pressure. In the next chapter, you will learn how to eliminate excuses and how to stop the mind from talking you out of action. For now, remember this: structure is not restriction. Structure is support, and support makes progress possible. Chapter 9. Eliminating excuses at the source. Excuses sound reasonable. They sound logical. They sound protective. That is why they work. This chapter is not about arguing with excuses. It is about removing the conditions that create them. When excuses lose their source, they disappear on their own. Excuses are not the enemy. Excuses are signals. They signal discomfort. They signal uncertainty. They signal resistance. Attacking excuses does not help. Understanding them does. Every excuse is an attempt to avoid something unpleasant. See the pattern, and the power shifts. Where excuses really come from. Excuses do not come from laziness. They come from emotion. Fear of failure. Fear of effort. Fear of discomfort. The mind creates excuses to protect you from these feelings, not from the task itself. From how the task feels, the excuse timeline. Excuses follow a predictable order. First, a task appears. Then, discomfort appears. Then, an excuse appears. The excuse feels like the cause, but it is the result. Fix the discomfort, and the excuse fades. Common excuses and their real meaning. I do not have time. This usually means I do not want to feel the effort right now. I am too tired. This often means I am mentally resistant. I will do it later. This means I want relief now. Seeing the real meaning removes confusion. Why fighting excuses makes them stronger. When you argue with excuses, you give them attention. Attention strengthens habits. The mind enjoys debate. It feels productive, but debate delays action. Instead of fighting excuses, bypass them. The power of pre-decisions. Pre-decisions eliminate excuses before they appear. Decide ahead of time when to start, what to do, how long to do it. When the moment arrives, there is no choice. Excuses need choice to survive. Environment is the excuse factory. Many excuses are created by environment. Clutter creates overwhelm. Noise creates distraction. Ease creates delay. Change the environment, and excuses weaken. Prepare your space before you need to act. Make the right action, the easy action. The mind chooses what feels easiest. Use this. Place tools in sight. Remove distractions. Lower effort to begin. When starting is easy, excuses disappear. A story of elimination. Consider someone who excuses skipping workouts. They say they are too busy. They prepare clothes the night before. They set a fixed time. They remove choice. Excuses stop appearing. Not because they changed personality. Because they changed structure. Excuses thrive in vagueness. Vague goals create excuses. Work on my goals invites delay. Write for 10 minutes invites action. Clarity removes excuse space. Define the next action clearly. Reduce emotional weight. Heavy expectations create excuses. Perfectionism feeds delay. Lower the bar. Allow imperfect effort. Allow small progress. Excuses fade when pressure drops. The language shift change how you speak. Stop saying I have to. Say I choose to. Choice restores control. Control reduces resistance. The excuse interruption technique. When an excuse appears, pause. Do not judge it. Do not explain it. Ask one question. What is the smallest action I can take right now? Then do that. This interrupts the pattern. Why accountability works. Excuses hide in private. Visibility kills them. Tell someone your plan. Track your actions. Make progress visible. Excuses avoid exposure. Build an excuse-free rule set. Rules eliminate excuses. Examples. When resistance appears, I start anyway. If it takes less than 5 minutes, I do it now. When in doubt, I act. Rules simplify decisions. Excuses are predictable. Your excuses repeat. Same words, same timing, same situations. Notice them. Predictability makes them manageable. Stop personalizing. Excuses are not character flaws. They are habits. Habits respond to systems. Change the system. The behavior follows. Replace excuses with actions. Do not replace excuses with motivation. Replace them with action. Action silences excuses, not emotion. Your practice for today. Notice one excuse today. Do not follow it. Do not argue with it. Act anyway. Even briefly. That interruption matters. What comes next? You now understand how excuses form, and how to remove them at the source. Next comes perspective. In the next chapter, you will learn how long-term thinking changes daily behavior, and why patience is a form of discipline. For now, remember this. Excuses survive in confusion. Clarity ends them. And clarity is a choice you can make today. Chapter 10. Energy management over willpower. Willpower feels heroic. Energy management feels practical. This chapter will change how you approach effort. Because most people do not fail from lack of discipline. They fail from poor energy use. When energy is managed well, action becomes easier. When energy is ignored, willpower is drained fast. Why willpower runs out? Willpower is a limited resource. Every decision uses it. Every distraction drains it. Every emotional reaction spends it. By the end of the day, willpower is low. That is why good intentions fade at night. Not because you are weak, but because your energy is depleted. Energy is the real driver. Energy determines behavior. High energy leads to action. Low energy leads to avoidance. You can want something deeply, but without energy, you will delay it. Managing energy solves this problem at the source. Mental energy matters more than physical energy. Most tasks do not require physical strength. They require focus. Attention. Mental clarity. Mental energy is drained by stress, by multitasking, by constant stimulation. Protecting mental energy is critical. The hidden energy leaks. Energy drains quietly. Endless scrolling, constant notifications, unfinished tasks, negative self-talk. Each one takes a small amount. Together they drain you. Identify leaks, then reduce them. Sleep is not optional. Sleep is not a luxury. It is the foundation of energy. Poor sleep weakens focus. It increases resistance. It amplifies excuses. Protect your sleep. Consistent times matter. Quality matters. Everything else improves when sleep improves. Movement restores energy. Stillness drains energy. Movement restores it. Short walks, stretching, light exercise. You do not need intensity. Movement wakes the mind. When energy drops, move briefly. Then return to the task. Nutrition shapes focus. What you consume affects how you think. Heavy meals slow the mind. Unstable eating creates crashes. Aim for consistency. Stable energy supports consistent action. Why overworking backfires? More hours do not mean more progress. Overworking drains energy. Drained energy creates resistance. Resistance slows everything. Short focused sessions outperform long unfocused ones. Stop before exhaustion. The power of strategic rest. Rest is not stopping forever. It is stopping on purpose. Planned rest restores energy. Unplanned rest feels like avoidance. Schedule rest, then enjoy it fully. Timing tasks to energy levels. Not all hours are equal. Some hours are sharper. Some are slower. Use high energy hours for thinking tasks. Use low energy hours for simple tasks. Match effort to energy. The myth of pushing through everything. Pushing through works sometimes, but not always. Constant pushing leads to burnout. Smart effort alternates between work and recovery. Longevity matters. A story of energy awareness. Consider someone who struggles every evening. They try to work late. They rely on willpower. They fail repeatedly. They shift the task to morning. Energy is higher. Resistance drops. The task gets done. Same person. Different energy use. Protecting focus. Is protecting energy focus? Is energy in action? Distractions split energy. Each switch costs effort. Reduce switching. One task at a time. Your energy lasts longer. Emotional energy counts. Negative emotion drains energy. Frustration. Self-criticism. Comparison. Manage emotions gently. Calm preserves energy. Building an energy-aware routine structure. Your day around energy. Wake, move, focus, rest, repeat. This rhythm supports action. Replacing force with flow. Force relies on willpower. Flow relies on alignment. When tasks match energy, flow appears. Action feels smoother. Energy builds momentum. When energy is managed, progress feels easier. Easier progress builds confidence. Confidence reduces resistance. Momentum grows. Your practice for today. Notice your energy today. When is it high? When is it low? Adjust one task accordingly. Small changes matter. What comes next? You now understand how energy shapes action. Next comes identity. In the next chapter, you will learn how changing self-image changes behavior, and why who you believe you are matters. For now, remember this. Willpower fades. Energy renews. Manage energy. And action follows. Chapter 11. Rewiring self-identity. Everything you do flows from who you believe you are, not who you want to be, not who you wish you were, but who you identify as right now. This chapter is about changing that identity. Because when identity changes, behavior follows naturally. Why identity controls behavior. Your mind works to stay consistent. If you see yourself as someone who delays, you will delay. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you will quit. Not because you want to fail, but because the mind protects identity. It prefers familiar patterns over better ones, the silent labels you carry. Most identity is not spoken out loud. It lives in quiet thoughts. I am lazy. I never finish things. I am not disciplined. These labels feel harmless, but they shape every decision. The mind acts in alignment with them. Behavior does not create change alone. Many people try to act their way into change. They force habits. They push discipline. They fight resistance. It works briefly. Then identity pulls them back. Real change happens when action and identity align. Identity is built through evidence. Your identity is not chosen. It is collected. Each action is evidence. When you act consistently, the mind updates its belief. I did this before. I can do this again. Evidence matters more than intention. Stop attacking your old identity. Do not fight who you have been. That creates conflict. Instead, acknowledge it. That identity helped me survive, but it no longer serves me. Respect reduces resistance. Choosing a functional identity. Your new identity does not need to be extreme. Not I am perfect. Not I never fail. Choose something realistic. I am someone who starts. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who acts daily. Simple identities are powerful. Identity is reinforced in small moments. Big moments are rare. Identity is shaped in small choices. Starting when you want to delay. Continuing when it feels boring. Stopping excuses mid-sentence. These moments teach the mind who you are. Language shapes identity. Pay attention to your words. Stop saying, I am trying. Say, I am practicing. Stop saying, I cannot. Say, I am learning. Language guides, belief. Belief guides behavior. Act first, label second. Do not wait to feel different. Act differently. First, then label the action. I showed up today. That means I am consistent. Identity follows evidence. A story of identity shift. Consider someone who believed they were undisciplined. They began with one daily task. Very small, very consistent. After weeks, they noticed something. They stopped saying, I am lazy. They started saying, I am reliable. Nothing dramatic changed, but everything followed. The role of self-trust. Identity is built on trust. Each kept promise strengthens trust. Each broken promise weakens it. Make promises you can keep. Small promises build strong identity. Avoiding the all-or-nothing trap. One mistake does not erase identity. One missed day does not define you. Identity is shaped by patterns, not perfection. Return quickly. That return is part of the new identity. Visualizing identity through action. Do not imagine success. Imagine behavior. Imagine yourself starting on time, continuing calmly, stopping with intention. Behavior-focused visualization trains identity. Identity changes how effort feels. When action matches identity, effort feels lighter. You are no longer forcing yourself. You are expressing who you are. This reduces resistance. Repetition locks identity. Identity stabilizes through repetition. Daily action matters. Weekly action matters. Consistency builds certainty. Certainty changes self-image. Let go of old stories. Old stories keep you stuck. That is just how I am. I have always been this way. Those stories are outdated. You are not your past patterns. You are your current actions. Your practice for today. Choose one identity statement. I am someone who starts. I am someone who finishes. I am someone who acts daily. Then prove it once today. One action is enough. What comes next? Identity is now shifting. But life will test it. In the next chapter, you will learn how to stay disciplined when things go wrong, and how to continue through failure without quitting. For now, remember this: you do not change by force. You change by alignment. Act like the person you are becoming, and your mind will follow. Chapter 12. Winning the Hard Days. Hard days are not exceptions. They are part of the process. If you only act when things feel easy, progress will always be fragile. This chapter is about the days when energy is low, when motivation is gone, when quitting feels reasonable. These days matter most. Why hard days decide your direction. Easy days build confidence. Hard days build character. Anyone can act when conditions are perfect. Few act when they are not. The difference between progress and stagnation is how you respond on hard days. Hard days are not a sign of failure. Feeling resistance does not mean something is wrong. It means you are doing something meaningful. Growth creates friction. Friction creates discomfort. Discomfort is a signal of expansion. Lowering the standard without lowering the habit. On hard days, do not aim high. Aim to show up. Reduce the task. Shorten the time. Lower expectations. But keep the habit alive. Showing up matters more than how well you perform. A story of consistency under pressure. Consider someone who works daily on a goal. One day they feel drained. Focus is low. Everything feels heavy. They do not quit. They work for 5 minutes. They stop. The habit survives. The next day, energy returns. This is winning a hard day. Why skipping feels dangerous. Skipping feels harmless, but it breaks rhythm. Rhythm is hard to rebuild. On hard days, skipping trains avoidance. Showing up trains resilience. Choose resilience. The rule of minimum effort. Create a minimum rule. Even on the worst days, do the minimum. 1 page, 1 sentence, 1 action. This rule protects consistency. Emotional weather is temporary, feelings pass. Fatigue lifts, stress eases, clarity returns. Hard days feel permanent. They are not. Do not make permanent decisions in temporary states. Staying calm. When everything feels heavy. When pressure rises. Slow down, slow breathing. Relax shoulders. Ease tension. Calm keeps you engaged. Panic drains energy. The power of finishing something small, restores confidence. Completion sends a message. I can still act. That message matters on hard days. Avoiding the spiral. Hard days often trigger negative thinking. I always struggle. I am failing again. These thoughts deepen the struggle. Do not engage them. Focus on the next small action. Action interrupts the spiral. Why rest can be a win. Sometimes the win is rest, not avoidance. Intentional recovery. Rest chosen consciously supports progress. Rest chosen unconsciously feeds delay. Know the difference. Adjusting without quitting. Hard days require adjustment. Shorten sessions. Change tasks. Shift timing. Do not quit the process. Flexibility keeps momentum alive. Winning is defined differently. On hard days. On easy days, winning is progress. On hard days, winning is participation. Both matter. Participation keeps the door open. Hard days build trust. Every time you show up on a hard day, trust grows. I do not quit when it is hard. That belief changes identity. The accumulated effect. Hard days are few individually, but they stack. Each one strengthens resilience. Over time, what felt hard becomes normal. Preparing for hard days in advance. Plan for hard days. Decide your minimum. Decide your fallback. Preparation removes emotion. Your practice for today. Notice how today feels. If it is a hard day, show up briefly. If it is an easy day, prepare for the next hard one. Both matter. What comes next? You now know how to survive hard days. Next you will learn how to think long-term, and why patience protects discipline. For now, remember this. Hard days do not stop progress. Skipping does. Show up. That is how you win. Chapter 13. Long-term thinking. Most failure is not caused by lack of effort. It is caused by short-term thinking. This chapter will help you shift your perspective. From days to years. From comfort now to results later. When your thinking stretches forward, your behavior changes today. Why short-term thinking sabotages progress. The mind loves immediate results. Fast rewards feel good. Quick relief feels safe. But real progress moves slowly. When expectations are short-term, frustration grows. When frustration grows, quitting feels logical. Long-term thinking breaks this cycle. The gap between action and results. There is always a delay. Effort comes first. Results come later. This gap confuses people. They act. They see nothing. They stop. Not because the action failed, but because the timeline was misunderstood. Understanding the gap builds patience. A simple story of delayed results. Imagine planting a seed. You water it. Nothing happens. You water it again. Still nothing. You keep going. Then one day, growth appears. The seed was working the whole time. So were you. Why consistency beats intensity over time? Intensity creates spikes. Consistency creates trends. One intense week changes little. Months of steady effort change everything. Long-term thinking values trends. Trends build success. Detaching from daily mood. Daily mood is unreliable. Some days feel strong. Some feel heavy. Long-term thinkers act anyway. They do not measure success by how they feel. They measure it by showing up. The compound effect explained simply: small actions add up. Daily effort compounds. Tiny improvements stack. What feels insignificant today becomes powerful over time. The math is quiet, but it works. Avoiding the all or nothing trap. Long-term thinking avoids extremes. One missed day does not matter. Quitting does. Return quickly. Speed of return matters more than perfection. Measuring progress the right way. Do not measure progress emotionally. Measure it structurally. Did you show up? Did you complete the block? Did you follow the system? These metrics matter. Patience is an active skill. Patience is not waiting. It is continuing without visible reward. That takes discipline. Patience keeps effort alive during the gap. Zooming out reduces pressure. When pressure feels heavy, zoom out. Ask this: what will this look like in 6 months? Most problems shrink with distance. Perspective calms the mind. The role of identity in long-term thinking. When identity is long-term, behavior stabilizes. I am someone who shows up over time. This identity removes urgency. It supports steady action. Avoiding comparison. Comparison shortens vision. You see others ahead. You feel behind. But you do not see their timeline. Long-term thinking focuses inward. Track your path. Building for sustainability. Ask this question often: can I do this for months? If not, adjust. Sustainable effort beats heroic bursts. Trusting the process. The process works if you stay with it. Doubt appears when results are delayed. Do not abandon what you have not given time. Trust is built through repetition. A mental shift that helps replace this thought. Is this working? With this, am I staying consistent? Consistency answers everything. Long-term thinking changes daily choices. When you think long-term, daily temptations lose power. Short-term comfort feels smaller. Long-term goals feel clearer. Clarity guides action. Your practice for today. Think 6 months ahead. Ask yourself, what daily action would matter then? Do that action today. What comes next? Long-term thinking keeps you patient. But life still interferes. In the next chapter, you will learn how to live disciplined daily, not just when conditions are perfect. For now, remember this: results are delayed, but they are never denied to those who persist. Think long-term, act today. Chapter 14. Becoming consistent for life. Consistency is not a burst of effort. It is not a challenge you win once. It is a way of living. This chapter is about making consistency permanent, not intense, not dramatic, but sustainable for life. Because the goal is not to change for a month. The goal is to become someone who does not quit. Why consistency feels hard at first. Consistency feels difficult because it removes novelty. New beginnings feel exciting. Repetition feels plain. The mind craves stimulation. Consistency feels quiet. But quiet effort is powerful. What feels boring is often what works. Consistency is not motivation-based. If consistency depends on motivation, it will fail. Motivation changes daily. Consistency must remain. Consistency comes from systems, from habits, from identity. You stop asking how you feel. You act because this is what you do. The shift from effort to habit. At first, effort is required. You think about starting. You push through resistance. You remind yourself why it matters. Over time, effort fades. Habit takes over. Habits require less energy, less emotion, less thought. This is where consistency becomes easy. Why most people break consistency. Most people fail for one reason. They expect perfection. One missed day feels like failure. Failure feels discouraging. Discouragement leads to quitting. This pattern ends here. Consistency allows mistakes. Quitting does not. The rule of immediate return. This rule protects consistency. When you miss a day, return the next day. Not after fixing everything. Not after feeling better. Immediately. Speed of return matters more than streaks. A story of lifelong consistency. Consider someone who writes daily. Some days they write a page. Some days they write a sentence. They miss days sometimes, but they always return. Years pass. Books are written. Consistency did not look impressive daily, but it built something powerful. Consistency thrives on simplicity. Complex systems break easily. Simple systems last. Choose actions that fit your life, not actions that impress others. Consistency survives simplicity. Lowering the bar protects the habit. High standards destroy habits. Lower the bar. Allow small effort. Allow imperfect action. Small effort repeated beats perfect effort. Rarely. Why identity locks consistency in press. When consistency becomes identity, quitting feels unnatural. I am someone who shows up. I am someone who keeps going. Identity removes decision-making. You act automatically. Tracking, without obsession. Tracking can help, but obsession hurts. Track behavior, not emotion. Track actions, not outcomes. The goal is awareness, not pressure. Consistency during life changes. Life will interrupt. Schedules change. Energy shifts. Responsibilities increase. Consistency adapts. Shorten sessions. Reduce scope. Do not abandon the habit. Adapt it. Consistency is built on trust. Each time you show up, trust grows. I can rely on myself. The trust creates calm. Calm supports consistency. Avoiding burnout. Burnout comes from excess. Too much pressure. Too much intensity. Too little recovery. Consistency includes rest. Planned rest supports long-term action. Why slow progress wins. Fast change fades. Slow progress sticks. Consistency is not about speed. It is about direction. As long as you move forward, you win. Redefining success for life. Success is not finishing quickly. Success is continuing quietly. Success is still showing up years later. That is real achievement. Consistency as a lifestyle. Consistency extends beyond goals. It shows in how you wake up, how you work, how you treat yourself. It becomes how you live. Your personal consistency code. Create a simple code. I start even when I do not feel like it. I return quickly when I fall off. I choose progress over perfection. This code guides behavior. What to do when consistency feels flat. Flat does not mean broken. Flat and stable. Stability builds results. Do not chase excitement. Trust repetition. The long view. Think years ahead. Ask this: will I thank myself for continuing? The answer is always yes. Your practice for today. Choose one habit you want for life. Make it small. Make it repeatable. Do it today. Then do it again tomorrow. A final truth about consistency. Consistency is not talent. It is not luck. It is not personality. It is a decision you repeat. Day after day. Year after year. That decision changes everything. You do not need to be extreme. You need to be steady. And steady is something you can choose. Starting now. Conclusion. The decision that changes everything. Every change begins with a decision. Not a dramatic one. Not a public one. A quiet one. The decision to stop negotiating with yourself. The decision to stop waiting for the perfect moment. The decision to act even when it feels uncomfortable. That is the decision that changes everything. You have learned something important through this audiobook. You are not lazy. You were trained. You learned to avoid effort. You learned to delay. You learned to choose comfort over progress. And because it was learned, it can be unlearned. That truth alone puts power back in your hands. Change does not come from motivation. It comes from systems, from structure, from identity. You now understand how your mind works. You know why resistance appears. You know why starting feels hard. You know why excuses sound convincing. Most importantly, you know what to do anyway. This book was never about doing more. It was about doing what matters, consistently, calmly, without drama. You do not need to transform your life overnight. You do not need to feel confident first. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to keep one promise: to show up. There will be days when everything feels easy, and there will be days when everything feels heavy. Easy days build momentum. Hard days build character. Both count. Progress is not destroyed by slow days. It is destroyed by quitting. Remember this. You win by starting. You win by returning. You win by continuing. Even small action moves you forward. Even imperfect effort counts. Even quiet discipline compounds. At some point you will forget parts of this audiobook. That is normal. But if you remember one thing, let it be this. You are not waiting to become someone else. You are training who you already are. Every action is a vote for your future identity. Every decision teaches your mind what to expect next. Choose wisely. You do not need more information. You need repetition. Take one idea from this book. Apply it today. Apply it again tomorrow. Let action do the teaching. The decision that changes everything is simple. Not easy, but simple. When resistance appears, you act anyway. When you fall off, you return quickly. When comfort calls, you choose growth. That decision, repeated, reshapes your life. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a new standard. A standard where you trust yourself. A standard where action is normal. A standard where progress is quiet and steady. Take a breath. Decide who you are becoming. Then take the next small action. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now, because the decision that changes everything is the one you make next.